This video is sponsored by World of Warships. When I told my old high school friends the next video was World of Warships, suddenly I became the center of attention, the worst place for a gamer to be. They crowded around me, told me to stream it in Discord, and then they saw me fly an airplane into the sky and get blown up. Again, and again, and again. After spending thousands in violent bloody waste because I couldn't figure out the controls, I sat there waiting for them to tell me what I did wrong. Instead, I got a very simple, "Dude, you suck." Anyway, I've spent the last few days sitting in here trying to figure out how to play this. No, this is not a guide. If you boot up the World of Warships YouTube page, you'll find tons of guides. And if you attend their lecture, I'll be right there next to you. Why watch the video then? Well, I'm really funny. World of Warships is a 12v12 battle arena where you play as warships. The game modes have different objectives, but the most common one I played revolved around defending a base while trying to take out the enemies. If you die, you do not come back, and there's very little ways to heal yourself, so every shot matters. World of Warships is not a simple game by any stretch of the imagination. You are not playing Call of Duty, lest you become plundered booty. Instead of having normal movement mechanics, you work like a ship. You have multiple speed toggles: stop, fourth speed, half speed, full. Not to mention that turning works on a similar staged interval. While it's tempting to stay moving in the same direction or stand still, you need to constantly find new angles or you'll find yourself really easy to blow up. Combat is all geometry. Shots can be done over extremely long distances. X is their speed, Y is how far ahead you're aiming. You need to get a good look at where they're going and let your honor determine your fate. Basically, it takes a little guesswork. Certain ships have longer ranges, though enemy ships can also alter their speed. Yeah, I know, high school sucked, but at least the teacher couldn't change the value mid-question. Your ship takes a while to aim its gun where you want it to. Often I found a guy far in the distance and started assuming where he'd go and firing my shots there. The men on my ship bemoaning as I tell them once again we're going to turn every gun at a 180-degree angle. Don't worry guys, you'll be set on fire soon enough. You can play World of Warships without paying a cent. There's tons of free stuff. Yes, this is an ad, you know where this is going, but I wanted to bring up a few things. You can purchase ships with credits that you gain by playing, or by selling ships, as long as it's the right ones. There's also gift codes basically everywhere if you know where to look. Okay, hold on. Let's roll it up. World of Warships is a free-to-play naval warfare-themed game available on PC. New content is released every month, whether it's new ships, in-game nations, cosmetics, or even classes. And from May 15th to June 28th, the game will have an event in collaboration with Azure Lane. You can always count on enjoying fresh gameplay experiences in World of Warships' stunning 12v12 arenas. World of Warships has over 40 unique maps with dynamic weather, all of which have been updated with stunning new water effects and textures. All of which makes the game as close as you can get to the real deal. Conquer the oceans aboard history's most iconic battleships, destroyers, aircraft carriers, cruisers, and submarines. And also the game is now available on consoles, would you look at that? Use my link in the description to download World of Warships. After downloading World of Warships, use the promo code BRAVO to receive a huge starter pack, including 500 doubloons, 1.5 million credits, and 7 days of premium account time, and a free ship. Thank you to World of Warships for sponsoring this video, and have yourself a good rest of your day. Sorry, sometimes I snap into a trance and my taxes fly in front of me. Each ship has different sections on it. The bow end and aft end on the tips of the ships. There's the superstructure on the top of the ship. This is just useless stuff like human life. But in case you've been very, very bad, you can get hit in the citadel, which is like the beating heart of the ship, housing all of its vital functions, which can be up to 3 times the damage. The citadel is slightly below the ship. By following the waterline, you can line up the perfect shot that deals critical damage. Or, if you're lucky, you'll hit their ammo supply that makes them explode, if they don't have that one quirky little passive that turns that off forever. The citadel is also protected by the highest amount of armor. Each ship has different values, and your ammo types are split into 2. One pierces, one doesn't. One can also set ships on fire. You have an ability that puts it out, but your crewmate's will to live is on a cooldown. If you get set on fire without it, you will simply cook to death. The first type of shell is an HE shell. Then you have armor-piercing shells. Shells can ricochet off certain surfaces too, but you can also over-penetrate, where the shot goes through the ship. This is common on armor-piercing shots against really thin armor. Okay, pencils down. The exam isn't that big of a deal. Your life will be fine. Yes, I really should mention that this is a wiki game. You need to cross-reference a lot of things. Or have a few ex-football players in the call. Not good enough, they say. I was given a press account, which is kind of like placing Bran the Broken on the throne. There I learned that this game has tons of ships. It's actually World of Battleships, World of Cruisers, World of Airship Carriers, World of Destroyers, World of Submarines, World of Tanks. Wait, that one's real. Each ship has different stats and weapons. You can examine what each ship is packing when you select them within the tech tree, but matchmaking is 10 steps ahead of you. Each ship is in a tier, and you are placed in a bracket with everyone playing that same tier. You want to pilot this ship that looks like High Charity? You will play with people that know exactly how to blow up High Charity. The battleship has the highest range, allowing you to use a massive periscope, grassy knoll style if the grass was in the deep blue sea. The destroyer goes faster than most ships, and the cruiser is a balance between the two. The aircraft carrier was funny. I basically got to spew out a dozen little rats and suicide bomb them into enemy ships for chip damage until someone got sick of me. I'm basically defenseless, so the moment that they finally decide they're sick of me is the moment I crumble into dust. Though learning the timing on the attacks was nice. It was relaxing. The peanut gallery said I was throwing, and I said that was a part of the fun. I don't even know what the submarines do, but I know people hate them. Though credit where it's due, it's very serene and peaceful to be 60 feet below the surface with the whales and the krill while everyone else is at war. You are below the surface and can't see people easily, so you have to detect them with a sonar. But the sonar gives you away, and with certain abilities, you can get wiped out in half a second. Submarines come equipped with torpedoes that specifically target the spot you ping with your sonar. Where do they go? I'll give you a hint. I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on this. World of Warships isn't so much a reaction shooter. It's more of a large-scale war, with tactics to apply. Here, I'm gonna give you a simulation on how that first game went. Alright, let's pick a ship real quick. Ooh, is that the New York? Alright, 2 points every 6 seconds, losing ally ships. Okay, we're like chess pieces, we're all worth a different score. Okay, that's cute, Alright, I was told if I press M, I can bring up the whole mini-map, and if I just click, I'll start heading over there. And, now we wait. I think this might hit, but I'm gonna aim a little further. Okay, that's a hit. I think that was on the superstructure, so it's not much. Alright, there we go. Captain Apollo obviously is not impressed with... Oh, that guy's on fire. He's not looking too hot. Each ship has a different value assigned to it, like chess. When that piece is lost, it contributes to the score. And sometimes it's worth it to sacrifice yourself to protect the higher end pieces. You can also gain points by sitting in enemy bases. Managing your distance is a large part of the game too, because you need to get close enough to hit the bad men, but if you go too far and get too much attention, you'll meet a salvo heavier than anything you were prepared for. You can also be a massive coward and take guest shots from the backline if you plan on going home after this. Otherwise, the first few moments are just hanging out. You boot up the game and you select a spot on the map, or you harass the local populace. Eventually you'll get there. Tactically speaking, your ship's angle matters a lot. Remember that diagram of the ship from earlier? Your citadel being below the ship works like a Resident Evil weak spot if it was in your thighs. You want to protect it, but a majority of your guns are placed on your side. So you have to turn to face enemy ships to hit them with all of your guns. But if you face them head on, they can only hit the tips of your ship. So it's a toss-up. You can either be defensive and face forwards, or be at your side and blast them with everything you've got, turning you into a crisp bit of metal and money. Then the match ended. I went back, looked at all my ships. I will miss the godlike powers that let me pilot ships I shouldn't have. I got to rub that in my Discord's face. Then they rubbed stuff back in my face like their plans tonight. I remembered something. Firstly, there's still that link in the description. Brainwash. And I want to end this on a bit of a story time. But deadlines are tight, so you're going to have to close your eyes and let your imagination do some of the work here. I sailed a bit as a kid. It was a lot of pulling ropes, and the wind was attached to a giant metal pole that would swing across the entire boat every now and then, angled just at the beheading level. Sailing is a 3-person job at least, you know? And every now and then the adults would announce a swimming day, where you were allowed to just jump into the pond and swim to your heart's content. But, of course, being stuck with several people my age, I was 12 by the way, they didn't care that the ship needed multiple people to stay afloat. Everyone jumped off the ship, one by one by one, each time passing their rope to me. And they cared less and less until there I sat, holding all of the ropes, one in my mouth. One of my hands held the steering rudder and a rope, sailing a boat that wouldn't stop moving. And the instructors rolled up in their motorboat, asking if I was all right. I opened my mouth to ask for help, and immediately, the rope went flying out and a big metal bar came speeding towards me. Thankfully, I was standing, but the metal bar was attached to the sail, meaning it's carried by the full power of the wind, knocking me into the water and watching as the sails on the boat dropped into a depressed droop. At the end of the year, they would hold a ceremony, full of tons of random stuff. Biggest lifter, fastest swimmer, stuff like that. And despite flying under the radar the whole summer, they gave me an award. The Most Anxious Sailor Award. And now do you see why I hate being the center of attention? Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you guys liked the thumbnail. I've been thinking of experimenting with it for a little bit. Also, I'm still, deathly ill. I would also like to thank the people on Patreon who made this video possible. I would especially like to thank Dermfetter, My Reed, Ethan A, Jonah Simpson, Mario Fan 997, Pyrozine, Sparkbolt 120, Rakren, Anthony R. Chambers, Colorado Ranger, and Crow Thrower. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.